Hello, everybody, and welcome to Candidate Question Time for the 2022 Manchester Students' Union elections. This year's coverage is hosted by Manchester Media Group. I'm Jess Wormsley, the Editor-in-Chief of the Mancunian and Student Media Intern. From today until the 2nd of March, MMG will be running candidate hustings for the 8 full-time executive officer roles. The exec officers are the top tier of the student roles. They are full-time jobs, paid £20,403 for the year to represent all students and influence their experience throughout the university and wider city. These live streams are a chance for you to meet the candidates at each role and hear them answer questions on topics suggested by the student body. I'll now pass over to our host for the first round, Joe McFadden.
Thanks, Jess. Hi, I'm Joe McFadden, the Investigations Editor for the Mancunian. Today's first candidate question time is for the role of Union Affairs Officer. From meeting with student groups to liaising with the Board of Governors and even the Vice-Chancellor herself, Nancy Rothwell, the Union Affairs Officer does it all. Their job is to represent student voices across the university at the highest levels, ensuring everyone gets to have their say in how the university is run. Joining me today are the 4 Union Affairs candidates: Mohammed Ali Asghar, who is unfortunately not present right now, Samantha Bronheim, Miguel Gonzalez Valdez Tejero, and Mohammed Butt. To start things off, each candidate will have 1 minute to give an introductory speech about themselves and their manifestos. When their time is up, I will raise my hand so they can wrap up their speech. Now, it's time for the questions. These were written based on topics submitted by the student body. Each candidate will have 1 minute to answer, after which I will once again raise... Wait, I've gone too far. So, Mohammed, can you start?
Hi everyone, my name is Asad. I'm third-year law student with previous Students' Union experience as part-time international student officer and currently trustee on the Students' Union Board of Trustees. My vision is to create a conducive environment where students will have right well-being tools and required support that can help them succeed academically in a social inclusive way. I demonstrated this by working with the SU General Secretary in securing a funding for £20,000 for installation of sanitary shower in SU washrooms, making Students' Union more inclusive for students who need it for cultural and religious purposes. I organize events for students during vacations who cannot go back home, especially during the Christmas break. Thus, I want to do more, hence requesting you to vote for me as your Union Affairs Officer. If I elected, I will be doing the following, but not limited to. Firstly, according to the SU Student Life Survey, more than 52% of the students lives outside the university accommodation. Hence, will advocate for the university to be the guarantor for these students. And introduction of online exam during the COVID shrink the attainment gaps and between the races and disability. So hence we'll negotiate for online exams to be maintained.
Pardon me, I'm just going to have to stop you there. You've gone way over time.
Sorry.
So, Miguel, can you now do your speech, please?
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Miguel, and I'm a biomedical science student, and I am your education officer this year. I wrote an unnecessarily long manifesto, so I'm going to try to be brief and just give you the kind of bullet points. So I want to make the university more diverse and inclusive, and I will do that by working to establish an anti-racist group, to tackle discrimination, but also making hardship funds more inclusive for students to apply for financial support. I will work to make sure that the international PGT voice are heard and supported, especially with the disappearance of those roles from the exec. And in general, I just want... My vision for the university is really, and also for the union, that students are at the center of all the activity, that it is a diverse, accessible, and inclusive space, and that it is a fun and safe space for all students. I want every student to have agency and to have kind of the chance to make their voice heard, to have representation, to make sure that they can take whatever they want to fruition. Thank you.
Brilliant. Now, Sam, can you give us your introductory speech, please?
Yeah, thanks, Joe. Hi, everybody. I'm Sam. I'm a third-year zoology student, and I've been at the university for 4 years because I did a foundation year as well. My whole time at university, since my first semester up until now, I've been a part of the Mancunian, and it's definitely been the best part of the experience, and it's made me at the forefront of what students really care about. Sometimes they don't often come to the SU, but with us, we know how to listen to them, and we know how to take what they're passionate about forward. So I feel like I can really bring that to this role. I also really care about online learning and better resources. The pandemic has clearly shown the university is not ready to support students in an online environment, which is unacceptable really in 2022. I care about well-being and diversity and inclusion. That's why I'm running the Women in Media conference this year. And just ultimately, I care about students and I care about getting things done. I'm determined, I'm a confident speaker, and I'm a good listener. So I really think I can bring that to this role.
Brilliant, thank you all. Now it's time for the questions. These were written based on topics submitted by the student body. Each candidate will have 1 minute to answer, after which I will once again raise my hand to signal it's time to stop. Now, time for the first question. Over the past 2 years, the student body has expressed high levels of dissatisfaction with university management. Events like Fallowfield Fences and last year's Nancy Out's referendum have highlighted how deep levels of distrust within the student body go. What are some of your main concerns about university life, and how would you tackle these issues to help students regain trust in the university? Mohammed is not here once again, so Sam, please can you start?
So I think something that the SU could really take more advantage of is using social media to communicate with students. Pretty much it dominates how we all communicate with each other, but it feels like that's really lacking in a key way of gaining information. You know, students don't want to sit there and answer a 10-minute survey, but if you do a fun, colorful poll on an Instagram story, you're much more likely to get some feedback. So I think I want to make good use of social media, maybe even hiring a volunteer team. Students are always looking for social media opportunities, and for careers, it's really important. So I think that would be really important for me, just getting that outreach. But I think in the coming years, students are going to be really concerned with just the online side of things. And also a quite topical issue at the moment is the lecture strikes, which obviously are happening more frequently. And students really are dissatisfied with the way the university is handling it, namely in the fact that they're not showing that solidarity to the professors. So I'd like to do more to help with the UCU actions and result in some change from the university and making sure it doesn't impact student learning.
Brilliant, thanks. Miguel.
So I think there is no easy way to restore confidence in the university. And I don't know that it should be restored without actual action from the university to kind of improve student life. Kind of my role in that as university, if I get elected, would be to make sure that what students want and what students are telling us that they want is actually heard by the uni, but not only heard, but action done. So following up on commitments, because the uni is very easy and fast to commit to things. They're not that good at following through. And I think it's very important to really make sure that we are transparent with students. And it kind of goes to the social media that Sam was saying, of making sure that when we are doing things, we talk about the process, we talk about the outcomes, and we are really communicating throughout and making sure the students know what we're doing and what the uni is doing about it as well. And that's basically it for me.
Brilliant, thanks. Mohammed.
I think during this uncertain time, employability remains as one of the top 5 issues students think while studying. Hence, I will first of all extend the MOU with Masood Entrepreneurship Center to provide more entrepreneurship programs for students. And I think the second one I will do is like try to get some unconventional mental health support initiatives to help students during the time of distress. And with reference to the staff members, I will try to bridge the gap between the staff members and the and the students. Thank you.
Thanks to all the candidates. Now it's on to our next question. So our second question today is, how do you plan to communicate with students throughout the year to ensure you are representing their views to the university and the students' union leadership? I believe According to my oldest Sam, you will once again start.
Well, then I once again have the same answer, and I will definitely redirect back to social media and things like that. But also just spending more time across campus, whether that's going to student bars and really immersing myself in the student lifestyle. And no, that's not code for going out and clubbing, but just being in that environment so that I can actually be sort of on the front lines and communicating with students, hanging out in buildings, fly posting. And yeah, like I said before, social media will definitely be the main one for me.
Brilliant. Mohammed, now it's time for you.
Sure. I think communication was, well, I was reading the survey by Student Life, SU Student Life Survey, and 47% of the students said they are unsatisfied with the communication from the university. And so I think I will try to work more on the social media and try to work more with the 13 media to have more, to get into more ways and explore other ways to engage students and involve them in the decision making. Thank you.
Once again, thank you, Miguel.
Okay, so there isn't one way to communicate to students. And I think during my time this year in the role of education officer, I found out that it's actually really hard because it's a very kind of intense workload to make sure that you're getting student voice and you're meeting students, but it's very important. So you have to be very deliberate and kind of make sure that it's planned throughout your week and throughout your month and throughout the year, what you're talking to students. And it's not only important to talk to students in general and to communicate on social media, but it's very important to make so deliberately as well, thinking about who you are talking to, because not all issues affect all students the same. You need to make sure that specific groups of students are heard for specific things, but you also need to make sure that you're engaging in meaningful conversations, and it's not just you broadcasting or you kind of just going to social media and telling them what you're doing. It's also about being open and hearing everyone's kind of opinions and needs.
Thank you. Now it's time for our third question. So, the Union Affairs Officer role is the most broad of all the exec roles. How do you envision working with the other exec officers to improve education and the university experience for all students? Miguel, you can start.
Okay, so this is something that I've actually thought about a lot, just because I know the roles are changing and it's going to be a very challenging transition year. Education in the end is the main reason students come to uni, I guess, or one of the main ones. And it is hard because it's basically 3 different universities. Each of the faculties has different goals. The students there do different things, and it's kind of hard to pull it all together. So it's going to be very critical for, I think, the role of Union Affairs to work with the 3 new education officers and with a research officer to make sure that there's kind of like a clear vision throughout, and we're all kind of advocating on the same things when needs to, and on different things when we don't. But making sure that we are all aware of everything that's happening and all aware of kind of the goals that we have together. On a student experience in general, no, it can be disentangled from everything else. So mental health impacts your education. Mental health impacts how you're living. Your accommodation impacts it. So it's about having a team that works on all of it together. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, Mohammed, your piece, please.
So I think I like the idea of the university for restructuring the SU to restructure the SU executive positions and involving more education officers, like dividing it into the faculty officers as well. So I will be working with all the faculty officers together with the postgrad officer as well to make every decision to be made inclusive, and all the student bodies are well represented, because we can see now that we have removed the role of women's officer and as well as international officer. So I want these student communities to be inclusive as well, and all the decision which will be made regarding education will be made inclusively with all the student bodies involved. Thank you.
So I second what the other candidates have said. I think the reshuffling of roles is a really great decision, given the differences that every faculty has. I have a I've been in positions of leadership before, and the best thing that I've learned is creativity and collaboration and appreciating where others' strengths are. So a team that can really trust each other and really work together is going to be integral to this process. And that's why I think as a leader and in this broad role, I can definitely help tie it all together and make sure nothing is getting, falling through the cracks. Inclusivity, accessibility, education, mental health, it's all coming together. Like Miguel said, they all impact one another. So I think in this role, given experience I already have, I feel confident that I can bring together a team that wants to drive active change, both within their environments and as one.
Thank you. Now it's time for our fourth and final question. So, what plans do you have for making the university more inclusive, intersectional, and accessible? Mohammed, please can you start?
So to make it diverse and inclusive, I will fight against the racism and sexual harassment and Islamophobia and other forms of oppression that makes university unsafe for certain students community by imposing tougher sanctions. I have already said I have got the funds for installation of sanitary showers, so that also makes the university inclusive because some students use it for cultural and religious basis. And first, and I will also, because I have seen because of the restructuring, we don't have the rule, we don't have the position for women's officer. So I will fight I will fight period poverty, because I think if toilet paper is offered for free, why not the sanitary products? And I will also lobby with the university for more scholarship for developing countries. Thank you.
Thank you. Miguel.
So I once again I kind of get confused as I start. I think all of it is about giving students a voice. And for us to improve on all of this, it's about hearing the student communities that we want to empower, the ones that we want to include, the ones that we want to give access to, and it's really about working with them. And there's a lot of barriers to this. For some of them, a lot of the involvement that we get in the SU are from people that have time to give, and a lot of people that really need change in the uni don't have that time to give. So one of the things that I want to do is to make sure that people, when they're engaging in non-representative work, that's kind of about diversity or an inclusion and that it's about lived experience and emotional labor, that they are paid to be able to do that engagement. And I think it's also very important that when we're doing things like this, we work together, because there's a lot of intersectionality, as kind of the question led to. Oh, that was fast. Sorry.
Sam.
So I think for me, something I really want to try and not do is bring my own individual biases there. I'm a woman, and I want to make sure that I don't just host lots of events that are just about women in STEM and things like that. Whilst they're important, and I'm going to try and get them done, it's important that we do things for all inclusivity and all identifications and all ethnicities and religions and things like that. I second the point about menstrual products, but in female and male and unisex bathrooms, because I think they need to be accessible everywhere and all across campus, not just in the main study spaces. You could waste a whole day if you don't have one of those products on you. And it's a shame that it has to impact education, and it does. In terms of the SU, it's really the hub for inclusivity and acceptance. So I think increasing these spaces and just making students feel comfortable listening to students, and just more collaboration between societies. There are so many groups with such vibrant interests and passions, and those should really come together in this safe space.
Thank you all. Now we'll give you the chance to do one very quick closing statement if there's anything you haven't had a chance to talk about yet. So, Miguel, we'll once again start with you.
Okay, I think I'll kind of develop a bit more the answer from my last question, because I waffled on a bit at the beginning. And I think championing liberation campaigns is one of the most important things that we can do, because they exist. And it's not about us creating new work. It's about working with them and making sure that we can support them and empower them. And also in general about making sure that staff and students come together on inclusivity is very important, because we can't work alone on them. And that's kind of where I'll end, because I don't think I have anything else to add.
Okay, thanks. Sam, your closing statement, please.
I love people. I could talk for hours, and I've been described as bossy, but all of those things mean that I'm somebody who really cares and cares about getting things done and actually making change and not just talking about it. There's a lot of stuff I care about, and there's a lot of stuff students care about, and I want to make sure both of those get communicated properly so that we can see actual change in the university. And if I have like a couple more seconds, one thing I didn't talk about is I'm very keen to start a mentoring program between alumni and current students in different career paths, just to kind of enable that career prospect, because I think a lot of students are very scared about what to do after university, but having somebody united by the university that they went to in a chosen career path is a great way to start. Thank you.
Mohammed, your closing statement, please.
So I think voting for me will be voting for someone who already knows the concerns of students and wants to do more. So to sum it all, vote Asad for Unions Affairs Officer. And even if I can't win this, I wouldn't win, or if I lose, I'm still looking forward to work with our lovely candidates and help them out with the future to restructure the future of the Students' Union. Thank you.
So that concludes our candidate question time for today. Thank you all for taking part today. You can find the full manifestos of the candidates at manchesterstudentsunions.com/leadmanchester. Later on this evening, we will be hearing from the candidates for biology, medicine and health, followed by the candidates for city and community officer. Voting opens at midday on Monday, the 7th of March for exec officer elections and associate chair elections, with results announced live on March 11th. Don't miss the chance to have your say. I've been your host, Joe McFadden. Until next time.